What's going on, guys? And today we are doing our power rankings, as well as talking a little bit about Ben Simmons, Montrezl Harrell. We'll start off with Montrezl Harrell, then we'll talk some Ben Simmons, and then we'll get right into the power rankings. These are power rankings made by Jackson, aka Wil Upton. He'll be here joining us in a second. Let me just cue up the music. Let me cue up the ticketer. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Tomorrow's a special episode because we'll be having Boston Celtics writer Justin Trombino joining us. Very excited about that stuff. So here we are, and interesting, but Montrezl Harrell just signed a 2-year deal, technically a 1+1 because it's a 1-year deal with an option for the second year. And Jackson is joining us. So I was just talking about the fact that Montrezl Harrell has signed with the 76ers. What do you think of that?
I love it.
Damn, what's wrong with your voice?
I don't know nothing. Well, I don't know what that was.
Sounds like you got fucked by a ghost in your sleep. But either way, let's talk about this Montrezl Harrell. Do you agree with me? I actually said this. They now have a backup center. Their backup center was Paul Reed and Charles Bassi. Now they have Montrezl Harrell, arguably one of, if not the best bench in the entire NBA. Now with the signing of Montrezl Harrell on a 1+1 2-year deal, second-year player option. But I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think of this? Daniel House, PJ Tucker, Georges Niang, Matisse Thybulle, DeAnthony Milton, Furkan Korkmaz, Daniel House, Shake Milton off the bench with Montrezl Harrell now.
Yeah, we'll talk about them a little bit later on because I got some takes, so I'll save it for that. But, I mean, Philly looks great right now, man. They looked great before this signing. What's up, Josh? What's up, TP? We've talked about this before, man. Like, if the legal situation was cleared with Trez, why the hell is he not signed? And some team had to go sign him before another team. Like, if I'm any other team, I don't know if this makes sense, but even if I'm a random team, we'll use a random team like the Miami Heat.
All right.
Like, I would rather, if I have an open squad, if I got open roster spot, I'd go steal Trez before he goes to another contender who's going to burn you, like the Philadelphia 76ers. So a lot of teams really messed this one up in Philly. Daryl Morey just building up the Houston Rockets 2.0, and I absolutely love it, man. I really love it.
No, I completely agree. And obviously, there really isn't a need to have a big man like Andre Drummond or a defensive big man because you have Joel Embiid. And they did the right thing, and they got themselves a big man who only needs to come in. Joel plays, about 34 minutes a night, 32 minutes a night, nothing insane. And that means for about only 16 minutes a night, 15, 16 minutes a night, sometimes 20, we'll see Montrezl Harrell. And that's all you need from him. He'll come in, and I truly believe Montrezl Harrell. Guess who was the coach and the assistant coach for him when he won the 2019 Sixth Man of the Year with the Clippers? Doc Rivers and Sam Cassell. Yeah. So he's going back to the coach that he won, Sixth Man of the Year. And I honestly think if you look at this, last time he played 17 minutes a night in his first year with the Clippers, he averaged 11 points. And I could see him easily doing that. And his best year with the Clippers, he averaged a block a game. And with the Clippers, he averaged in 3 years basically a block a game. So can Doc Rivers get some defense out of Montrez?
Probably. Well, it's not like Trez. People act like Trez is so bad on defense that he's just not startable.
They're just stupid. People just forget that he's 6'7" with a 7'4" wingspan. Okay,
that's unreal.
Like, people forget Montrezl Harrell is a guy that is legitimately a dog, and a guy that I think for some reason the NBA has just kind of like they put in this bad cloud over Montrezl Harrell as if he's like a bad player. I'm not going to sit here and try to argue that he's an all-star because he's not. We both know that he's not an all-star. But can we both agree that Montrezl Harrell isn't deserving of, this is a guy that we all were amazed. What was he? Second-round pick or undrafted? Worked his way up from the Rockets, was a throw-in in the Rockets trade, and he freaking breaks out on the Clippers. And ever since the Lakers, everyone's like been like, Montrezl Harrell's overrated.
So I don't know if you know why. Is it because of the CBA agreement? Is because the money's about to change? But I don't know why it's September 6th. Training camp starts in a couple of weeks, and we have guys like Dennis Schroder and Montrezl Harrell who are still unsigned.
Well, this comes down to Kevin Durant and Donovan Mitchell literally putting the league on freeze for a month and a half. So now I don't know if you've noticed, since both of them been traded, we've had probably like 10, 15 signings.
Yeah, I mean, they're still a lot low. Like, this is like, to me, the first. Who was the last big one since Trez? It's been a while.
Josh Jackson.
Yeah,
that was but you get what I'm saying is right here coming on the screen is our notable free agents. Lamarcus Aldridge, he's a little bit older. He's somebody you want to bring mid-season at this point. Same thing with Dwight and DeMarcus. All three of those guys are guys. I got to take off Montrezl Harrell on that list. But Montrez was the youngest guy on that list. If you look at everyone passing, Cousins, Whiteside, Melo, Trevor Ariza, Blake Griffin, Paul Millsap, Rodney Hood, Iguodala, Jeremy Lamb, Ben McLemore, DJ Augustine, Dennis Schroder. Like, Dennis Schroder is the last good fish, I think, left out there that's like still young and, you know, has shit to prove.
Yeah, like the last, maybe one of the last super reliable players as far as like health.
Yeah, reliable and a guy who could actually start. Like
Produce,
Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroder are, with Montrezl gone now, Dennis Schroeder is the last guy. We're not counting Miles Bridges in this. Is the last guy on the market that we could argue now that Colin Sexton's gone too. So Colin Sexton and Montrezl Harrell were the last guys who could produce at a starter level and actually be a rotational player. The rest of the guys in here are guys that are just, if you brought them in, it's for more mentor or bottom of the bench roles, not all those old guys. Sup, Aaron? Sup, Joshua? Sup, Thomas Perry? So I think it's interesting. Now, I need you to send me the power rankings so we can get right into it. Or wait. Before we do the power ranking, I gotta share a video that's gonna blow your mind. You're gonna watch this video and you're gonna be like, this isn't real. And I'm gonna be like, well, the crazy part about this, that it is real. Okay, you ready for it? This is Ben Simmons in practice. Ben
He's been
Simmons
doing this for years, bro. Is this finally the year he deploys it in game?
I hope you knew I was being sarcastic. I want you to know that I wasn't actually getting hyped. I'm just saying Ben Simmons, year 5 of we get Ben Simmons off-season 3-point shots. That is nice. No, some of these plays are nice. I don't know why he's moving so slow. Like, he's moving slower than me out there, like on some of his moves. But at the same time, you know, you don't go as fast as you normally do when you're running. Like you do go fast, but sometimes when I work on new moves, until I feel confident, I don't run at full speed until, you know, I feel like I can. Like, I'll go slow stepped until I did it like 50 times slow, and then I'll start putting some speed on it. But little fun clip. Shall I rerun it? Are you good?
Sure.
That deep ass 3. That's a deep 3. That was a deep 3 by Ben Simmons. Then this corner step. I like that one.
You remember what game was it where they they were up by like a ton going into the second half, and Ben Simmons took a wide open 3, and Joel gave him like the biggest hug ever. I can't remember what season that was, but that was so.
Why? Because he took a 3-point shot.
When he like drained it, and everyone just lost it. It was a couple of years ago. So if we get a 3-point Ben Simmons, I mean, we already have a Hall of Famer here in Ben Simmons, but I don't know if that's a hot take. I mean,
I don't know
if he has a 3-pointer, fucking solidify that right there.
Oh, 100%. If he has a 3-point shot, he's solidified as a stud. Is this the picture?
No.
But yeah, no.
Looks like a playoff win.
I mean, you and I are both in agreement. If Ben Simmons averages at least 15, 6, and 6, or even what he averages rookie year, 16, 8, and 8, without a 3-point shot, this team is going to like the conference finals at the very least. I said the same thing for Russell Westbrook. If Russell Westbrook averages what he averaged for in the last 38 games with the Wizards, which was 24 points a night, 13 assists, and 11.5 rebounds on 32% from three, and 1.5 steals a night, literally, if he does that, Lakers are fucking like top 3 seed. It's the same thing with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, if he averages 15, 6, and 6 with Kyrie and Kevin Durant and all his shooters around him, it's over. Especially if he learns how to draw fouls.
Sorry, this is
What are you doing? You fucking.
It's pissing me off. Well, I can't. Evidently, I can't just share my screen with pictures, so I have.
No. Just send me them, and then I'll pull them up. There's a workaround.
Oh. Shit.
Just text me them, and I'll pull them up on text.
Text you. Okay.
Yeah. I was just. Are you on a Mac? Just send them through your iMessage.
I don't have iMessage on the Mac.
You don't have iMessage on your Mac?
I don't trust it.
Okay, you're something else, buddy. But
don't look at all of them right away.
Okay, I'll look at.
Of course, they come out of order.
All right, here we go.
I think you guys will be impressed with.
All right. I'm trying to keep my eyes closed. Are we going from 1 first?
We're going to 30. We're starting at 30 to 25.
30 to 25. Okay, dude, this is actually really nice.
I know.
Where'd you make these?
I made it on Canva.
They came out fucking fantastic.
I know. They really did.
Okay, you guys ready for Jackson's little?
Did I tell that story on this here where we had this like college golfer girl and she was dating this guy in the NFL? My little golf pod.
Yeah, I saw. You still haven't told us who she's dating. Like as if it's a big deal.
She's dating. Oh, you're right, dude. Wow, my memory is concerning. He's a tight end for a team in the NFC West.
Okay, that's so vague, and obviously he plays for the Arizona Cardinals because she goes to not the Cardinals, but she goes
to Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Seahawks.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's Kobe Parkinson.
Wow, what the fuck? Are you looking at like tight end depth charts in the NFC West right now?
No, so I'm playing is it actually Kobe Parkinson?
Yeah.
So no, the only reason I know that is, again, dude, I think I have like a monk level memory. Like I have an encyclopedic memory when it comes to like depth charts.
Smoking, that is crazy.
Yeah. And the other day I was playing franchise mode with the Seahawks, and when you start, Kobe Parkinson's the youngest tight end on the Seahawks roster.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm a fucking nerd. I
want to get to that level.
What, that you just memorize? Dude, I could sit here and name off every roster in the NBA.
Wow. Yeah, I want to be able to do that because you could just make a video for like an hour.
I can. That's what I do. I don't have.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I don't have shit in front of me unless an article. I'm just naming rosters off the top of my head. Same thing with salaries.
Wow. Jesus.
Okay. Indiana Pacers.
Real quick, Aaron. This is the Jepper poll. So basically, I listen to this college football podcast, Josh Payton. He does the JP poll. And so these are my power rankings, and this is the first one of the season. I think I'll probably wait until the first week once preseason is done. Well, I don't know if you want to get in on this or if you have yours ready to go after.
I mean, if the power ranking, I'm down to react to be like, if you want to be power ranking boy, we'll call these the Jackson's power rankings.
Jackson Elster's power rankings.
Jackson Elster's power rankings. I'm like, is that what the Jepper? The Jepper?
Jepper. Yeah, the Jepper rankings. Yeah.
The Jepper rankings.
The Jepper poll.
All right, so lead it off. Go ahead. Tell us why these are the 5 worst teams in the NBA, in your opinion, and why they are there.
So first off, this was really fucking hard. This was really fucking hard. I have Indiana at the end here because so real quick, these are power ranking. These are just straight up power, strength of your rotation. This is just pure strength of rotation.
Okay.
I have troubles with Indiana. They completely sucked last season when they made some of their moves. Tyrese Halliburton's a really good player. Benedict Mathurin's a really good player, but I don't think they're anywhere near the level of like being able to win your team games. I do anticipate Miles Turner, Buddy Hield to be off of that squad, but even if they aren't, I mean, this is a bottom team, unfortunately, but good thing for Indiana. They are rebuilding. I got Houston, OKC, Spurs, Charlotte, Utah up there. I don't think any of those are really all that surprising. I like Houston, but I don't think there's too much talent that's going to get them wins. Same thing with OKC. Same thing with San Antonio. Charlotte, I don't even really understand Charlotte at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte was the worst team in the league. But they got some solid role players. And then Utah, I don't think that they're like a clear walk away number one choice in the draft. Like, I don't think that they're like a lock to have the worst record.
I think they have the best roster as of right now, even if you take away Bojan Bogdanovic and Jordan Clarkson and Mike Conley and Rudy Gay from that roster. I would have them in front of, everyone except Charlotte. I would like after they trade all those guys, I would still have them in front of everyone else.
Should I change these? Because they're 25. I might have to flip the way they're.
No, I think Charlotte and Utah are at the same place because I think we can't give Charlotte any points because they didn't make any moves. They hired their old coach. They're thinking about signing Kemba when he gets bought out. Like, what are we doing? Are we going back to 2015? I can't give Hornets any points. I have to. I think, yeah, you could move on, but I think the Hornets and the Jazz 25-26 is the same ranking regardless. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the Jazz and the Hornets have the same record.
100%. I meant the way this was listed, but I was just confused. But yeah, I agree, man. I don't know what is going on with Charlotte. Charlotte fans are actually like super optimistic. They're super hopeful, and we've talked about it. Just Miles Bridges. If that situation was cleared, I mean they're kind of right back up there at playing territory.
Yeah, and with the Miles Bridges situation, I mean, we don't even know if we're going to get the same Miles Bridges of last year because
True, yeah.
People don't realize is that the mental part, people don't realize that the stuff in your personal life, the stuff that happens off the court affects, your play on the court. And I think this season is a test. And the test is, do we have the guys around LaMelo that are needed, or do we have to blow this up and try to pull like a Portland Trailblazers-esque year where halfway through the season they realize, I mean, if LaMelo were to get hurt for the entire of the year, they would they would pull Portland Trailblazers and blow this team up and just call it. But I think this year they're testing it, and they're basically saying, hey, Charlotte, are the players on the team right now capable of helping LaMelo? If they don't believe that is the case, then they're going to have to blow this up. And I think it's really, they're kind of in a Utah Portland boat where I personally think they should try it for for a quarter or half the season, see if Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, and company can get it done. If not, let's package Terry Rozier. Let's package basically everyone on the roster not named LaMelo. I don't care for any of these players. Okay?
Well, yeah, and we'll know a little bit more about like the guys like Book Knight and Kai.
We'll see if PJ Washington will look good.
I also really
what? Go.
This is not related to the Hornets.
Oh, okay, let me finish the Hornets thought. I like the Hornets guys as role players, but I don't like any of the guys on the starting lineup as starters besides LaMelo.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, go. What you were going to say? We can switch.
I was just going to say, because I knew it right when it came out of my mouth that I said it wrong because we have Thomas. I didn't mean like I wanted to flip Charlotte and Utah's rankings because that's what you and Thomas thought. I meant like, should I have it as 30 at the top going down to 25 for future? Like look-wise, let me know if this should be flipped. 30 at the top, 25 at the bottom. But I don't think so. So sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You want to go to the next ones?
Yes, I do. This one's gonna be. Oh, you guys thought it was gonna be a nice little casual power ranking, didn't you? No. I have some things.
I think this is the one where is the only one I could see people getting mad with one team.
Laughs and evil.
Oh, 1 second. I didn't get why that wouldn't show. No dead air. No dead air. No dead air. Okay. All right. Here we are.
Oh, this gives me so much joy. Oh my
So
God,
we
I'm
have
so
at 24. So in the last one we had, what was it? We had the worst team being the Pacers, second worst being the Rockets, then the Thunder, then you had the Spurs, then the Hornets, then the Jazz. Now we go at 24, Detroit, 23, Sacramento, at 22, Orlando, at 21, the Wizards, Washington Wizards, at 20, the Memphis Grizzlies, and at 19, the New York Knicks. Let me hear why you have these next five teams as your guys, especially with a team that was a 50-win team last year.
Mm-hmm. That is true. So, I have a lot of faith actually in the long term of Orlando, Sac, and Detroit. But as far as pure firepower goes, I mean, they're all missing it. There's no, as of right now, like you got Cade. I guess you have Sabonis, Fox. I don't know who. Maybe you'd lean more towards Fox in that situation. Orlando, we haven't seen it quite yet, which is why I would say Orlando could be anywhere like from like 18 to 20. But for right now, I haven't seen Paolo Banchero play professional NBA basketball yet, so I'm going to hold my horses here. Washington's solid, man, but I think they're always just like so close to me. Like they're always just like so close. And these rosters aren't based on health or anything like this. So I'm assuming you have a healthy Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Kristaps Porzingis. You have a healthy Orlando squad. You have a healthy squad for all these teams in these power rankings. I just don't know if Washington has enough players who are going to completely take over a game when you need them to take over a game. And so I think 21 is a pretty fair estimate for Washington because, man, you get one injury, this team's going to be probably somewhere around their record last season. I'm buying into Washington, but they always do this thing where they have like a impressive offseason where they make these like nice little moves and then they start off like 16-7 and then they just get one injury and completely fall off from there out. So we'll see with that. Memphis, I don't get why Memphis is a great basketball team. I really don't get it. I don't buy the second seed in any way, shape, or form. And then you lose like some of the most critical players like Anthony Melton. I mean, that's a big ass loss. You're replacing him and Kyle Anderson with Danny Green. Danny Green might not even make the roster because of his ACL tear. So you have an injured Jaren Jackson Jr. as it stands right now. You have Steven Adams, who's solid. Dylan Brooks, solid. Desmond Bane, like they're solid, but I really don't think that there's anything on this team. This is a little, 20 might be a little bit ridiculous, might be a little far-fetched, but as far as just pure firepower goes, man, I don't think they have enough star pieces on this team. They have quality role players, and this is where quality role players will get you. And then with the Knicks, I mean, you don't really know what you're going to get from New York, right? They were the 4th seed in the playoffs 2 years ago, and then you went to missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you have a ton of talent. I mean, and you added talent. You got Jalen Brunson. You got a stud in Jalen Brunson, a 21-7 Jalen Brunson. So if New York's healthy, I don't see any reason why they won't be hovering around the play-in tournament as good as the East is looking.
All right, let me give my reaction to this. I agree with 24 to 22 because I think we've talked about this before. Detroit and Orlando are the dark horse play-in teams, the two teams that are, I think, the farthest ahead in their rebuilds out of the 5-6 rebuilding teams in the NBA. And Sacramento, we don't know. We don't know. They're a team that wants to be in the playoffs, and you and I both have faith in Mike Brown, but will that be enough? We don't know. And again, on paper, there are holes on this team, specifically on the defensive side, and Domantas Sabonis did not look good in his, quarter of a season play with De'Aaron Fox. Now, I wish I could argue against what you said about the Wizards, but you're right. This Wizards team could be way better. Could be way better if fully healthy, if Kristaps and Kyle look like they close out the season and Bradley Beal looks like the guy from 2018 to 2019. This team could be way better. But you're right. Because if Denny Avdia doesn't take the jump, if, a couple other guys Will Barton and Monte Morris don't take the jump with more usage rate and all that, especially if an injury happens to one of their, 7, 8 guys in their main rotation. I agree the Wizards could be fucked. And young coach still, even though I have faith in Wes Unseld. There's just questions around the Wizards that I agree we can't sit here and be fully committed to saying that they're a top 20 team in the NBA. So I agree with that. The Knicks, I'm in the same accordance, even though they got Donovan Mitchell. What is this team? The defense.
The Knicks got Mitchell?
I mean, not Mitchell. Fuck me. Not Mitchell. They didn't get Mitchell. I literally said that they got Mitchell. They didn't get Mitchell, the Knicks. And that worked out. They kept the team. But either these young guys are old defensive studs, or this team still has a lot of questions around the defense. Memphis. I'm not on the same boat with you in Memphis that they're as bad as one person to the left of me thinks, or below me in this case. But what I do believe with Memphis is, will they regress? Yes, of course they did. I don't know if overachieved, but I think maybe, they performed better than everybody expected last year. And there's injuries on the roster. They're expecting a lot more of their younger guys to continue to take the jumps in the same, sequence as the other guys have taken their jumps. So hopefully the two timelines on this team aren't too far apart. And guys like Jake LaRavia, Santi Aldama, and Xavier Tillman and co. can figure it out until Jaren Jackson Jr. gets back. But again, there's questions with Dylan Brooks. There's questions with Steven Adams. There's questions with, even John Morant and his shooting. Will he take his game to the next level? I think there's nothing more else. It's just these 5 teams are the teams with the biggest questions.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they're here. And I can't argue with this ranking, because they're here for that reason, due to the fact that, there's more question marks than answers on these teams.
Yes,
now let's move on to the next one. I really do fuck with these graphics.
All right. I could probably do these for you too.
Ooh, I don't really do.
Oh, and the goal, the thought is that on the right, that's going to be the difference. So I'll put arrows. I'll put the arrows on the left side instead of the square if they move.
The line, you mean?
And I'll move them to the right. The difference, like plus or minus.
All right, we're back here with. So now 18, we have the Portland Trailblazers. 17, we have the Atlanta Hawks. At 16, we have the Dallas Mavericks. At 15, we have the Miami Heat. At 14, we have the Chicago Bulls. And at 13, we have the Phoenix Suns. So for your understandings, these would be the bottom teams, either play-in or bottom playoff teams in each of the respective conference, as they are – there's more East teams in here, as there's 3 of each, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Or 5? I can't count. Is there 6 teams? 6 teams. Yeah, there's 3 of each. So now Will or Jackson, I don't know. Aaron's saying Will threw me off. Jackson, I want to hear why. Why? There's a few I can get back behind. There's a few. Some people are going to kill you for Portland. Some people are going to love you for Portland.
Really?
Well, some people have there's a lot of people who have people who don't like Damian Lillard have no faith in Portland.
Yeah, so I base Portland around, Dame's never been under 500 in his career when he's played the season. So, Portland's going to make the playoffs here. I do think it'll be a play-in team just because of how good the Western Conference is, which we'll see pretty soon here in the top 10. But, Portland, Atlanta, Dallas, to me, I think they're very close. You all have superstars. But the surrounding pieces, I have a lot of question marks. Are guys like, what's Jeremy Grant, Nurkic going to look like? Portland to me could either they could get to as high to like 15, or they could fall back to 21. I think 18 is pretty safe for them. But with Damian Lillard, you just can't. When I have a healthy Damian Lillard, I just can't count them out of making the playoffs because they're going to make the playoffs. Atlanta and Dallas, I think these are two very similar teams, and I think this is very fair on both of them. Dallas had major scoring problems last season, and we really saw how badly scoring issues they had when we got into the playoffs. It was really only Luka on a consistent basis. You lost Brunson, but you got Christian Wood. But I still don't think surrounding pieces with Dallas or Atlanta that there are enough. Like, from Atlanta, I need more from DeAndre Hunter. I need second-year John Collins. I need almost 20-point per game John Collins. I need a Clint Capella who is showing me that, like, yes, it's useful having you on our court. Because as far as I'm concerned right now, Clint's like, I don't think he doesn't move the needle, but he doesn't not move the needle. So I think Dallas and Atlanta are right there. Miami, the fall off. I'd honestly pair Miami with Phoenix of the fall off of the point guards. Kyle Lowry looked horrible in the playoffs last season. Terrible. And so if Kyle Lowry, oh man, these are like good teams, all three of these teams, and a fully healthy Chicago has got to be, that's a good team. Phoenix almost lost to New Orleans. Miami, I think, just completely lucked their way through the playoffs. They're good. All these are going to be good regular season teams, but I don't think they're at the championship caliber level yet.
Now, let me tell you. Okay, Portland, I love Portland. And I think putting them at 18 is being a bit safe because I think they could definitely be way higher. And that's because Anthony Simons could become CJ McCollum for them, and they have Jeremy Grant. This is a team that I personally think has a lot of talent in a lot of places. Gary Payton II's a guy that I think is underrated. Everyone's going to be like, he's just good for Golden State. He's not going to be good for anybody else. Now, this team has defense. This team has offense. I think Portland's the sneakiest team out of all these teams. Josh Hart's another guy who could really win Sixth Man of the Year if he doesn't start this year, which I think personally he should start. I like the lineup of Josh Hart, Anthony Simons, my man Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant, and Joseph Nurkic. Then you have off the bench. I mean, some people might not like that, but I think when you look at the Portland Trailblazers, it's a bit. I just think Chauncey Billups comes from the Clippers, so he's going to use smaller lineups.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I like Nazir Little. I have faith in him, but Damian Lillard, Josh Hart, Gary Payton, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, Joseph Nurkic are the main guys with Drew Eubanks, Justice Winslow, Nazir Little, Josh Hart. I could see, coming off the bench, but I would like him starting just because he gives you defense and rebounding. But now if you go
real quick, I think Portland, a lot of Portland fans, and they've kind of bought me into Nazir Little starting just because of matchup wise.
Same, I agree.
More length, and I like that Josh Hart coming off the bench, getting 30 a night closing lineup. But there's, as far as bench scoring goes, I do have concerns, and that's why they're going to put Anthony. They're probably going to sub him out within 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're going to start Anthony. Portland Trailblazers fans have convinced me. I was trumping the horn that Anthony should come off the bench, but everyone's convinced me that he should start and come off and go to the bench after 5 minutes. And then same thing with Nazir. They're like, if Anthony starts, you got to start Nazir so Josh Hart can score off the bench because you saw what Josh can do scoring wise this past year. So I agree with that. Now, Atlanta, I agree with Clint Capella. Clint Capella and Steven Adams are kind of the same, even though different play styles, but in the same, they're a good center. They're centers that a team like the Golden State Warriors, where if your center position is a position you don't rely on and you just need a guy who's a solid starting center, Clint Capella and Steven Adams are those guys. They're good guys. They'll have seasons where they're borderline all-stars, but they're guys who are going to average 10, 11 points, 14 on a good year with 10, 11 rebounds and a block a game, maybe 2. But they're not athletic enough to keep up with the athletic players in the NBA. Dallas, I agree with you that Dallas, they're either going to be the same team they were last year during the regular season or they're going to improve. It all hinges on, Wood and McGee being good additions as well as either the guards they have on the roster being able to replace Jalen Brunson or a guard like Dennis Schroeder that they bring in will be able to help replace
That would be nice.
Jalen Brunson.
That would be a great move.
I mean, Dennis Schroeder just had his best game of the Eurobasket in front of 2 NBA executives. You want to guess who those executives were?
Dallas and
both were Dallas. Nico Harrison and Michael Finley, the general manager and the president of basketball operations of the Dallas Mavericks, had front row courtside seats to see Dennis Schroeder drop like 30 points for. Okay, Atlanta. Look, Aaron, we know they got DeJounte Murray, and I love them, and I think they're going to be better defensively. But there's still other questions on the roster that I think DeJounte Murray and Trae Young are the 2 best players on this team. Okay, the questions now, and we've talked about Atlanta a bunch, is that for this team to take the next step, we need John Collins to look like the guy he was 2 years ago. We need DeAndre Hunter to look like the guy he was 2 years ago before he got hurt. Then this is a top 5 team in the East easily, and arguably a top 8 team in the NBA if those 2 things happen. But I can't say subjectively that I'm fully confident that's going to happen because I don't know what to expect from Collins or Hunter.
I want to say real quick, DeJounte has always been a solid – he actually hasn't always been – the last 2 seasons he's been a really solid basketball player, but this last year was really the year he broke out. And if you go back to like the last time that DeJounte was – or that I guess that the Spurs were good. Oh my goodness. 2017, 2018, when they made the playoffs, and that's a 21-year-old DeJounte Murray playing 21 a night. So I need to see DeJounte do this on a team where he has an actual other superstar. Atlanta, they have the potential. They're going to be a good team. That East is deep, though, man. That East is really deep. Jasmine severely disagrees. But it's not like, I don't mean to – all 6 of these teams are good basketball teams. But I think Atlanta is very similar to Dallas right now and even arguably Miami. So we'll see. I say this all the time. I really want Atlanta to prove me wrong. And I've really been growing my love for Atlanta ever since I've met Aaron. So I don't know, Aaron, if you have a rebuttal. But, Cleveland didn't have a proven superstar last year. And they were like very close to having a home seed before injuries devastated them, and they had a top 5 strength schedule.
What were we just talking about? What did you just say? Atlanta? Okay, yeah, no, sorry. I'm going to the Lake of the Ozarks this weekend, and one of my friends is dog sitting my dog while I go because I can't bring her on the trip, and he just stopped by because he was gonna stop by and do I'm gonna show him the routine, and I was just like, I'm like mid-show, bro. So he's going over to one of my friend's house across the in the same apartment complex to smoke pot till I'm done. But so let's go over whatever Jackson just said about Atlanta. We were just talking about Dallas. We have questions about Dallas. I agree with Miami. The point guard play is why Miami isn't higher. We don't know what the fuck is going on with Kyle Lowry. Either Kyle Lowry is going to be the same guy and Gabe Vincent takes the jump and they run Gabe Vincent and Kyle Lowry and that's good enough, or it's just going to be shit. But I have faith in Miami. Chicago, defense, baby, defense. And we don't know how good that defense will be without Lonzo Ball, even though there's Alex Caruso there, Patrick Williams, and, they still have Ayo DeSumo, drafted Dalen Terry. There's just defense is what's going to keep Chicago going from the next level. And I agree with the Suns. We've said this all year. There's got to be a top dog that regresses. And sadly, those 2 teams are the Memphis Grizzlies and the Phoenix Suns. And we think the Phoenix Suns, there's something bigger going on underneath the surface that we don't know with players like Jay Crowder wanting out. And they didn't make many moves. So this team another team that's just stagnated. You agree?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm never been sold on Phoenix, but I also have a distaste for Chris Paul.
Yeah, I don't know what's your Chris Paul is like out of all basketball players, I want to say Chris Paul is like the least hated basketball player, and I think you hate on Chris Paul because nobody hates on Chris Paul.
Chris Paul's a douchebag.
Chris Paul is like the least hated basketball player in the NBA. That's a lie, but like
I'm a healthy hammy away from an NBA Finals ring right here.
that's like the only thing people hate on Chris Paul is that anytime he could have won an NBA championship, he got hurt. Like, how is that his fault?
Just be healthy.
Oh my
Be
God.
healthy. Don't get hurt. How's that sound? Just don't get hurt. I understand if it happens a couple of times, but not every fucking time.
So tell Greg Odom not to be born with a leg 2 inches shorter than the other leg.
That's a tough draw there.
Yeah. That's what you said. Be healthy. Tell Greg Odom, be healthy. Even though
Greg Oden hasn't played in the NBA for 17 seasons.
All right.
So nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it.
He went to the NBA. Did he go to the NBA Finals or did he win an NBA Finals with the Heat? The Heat just did him a solid.
Oden, so even more so, if Greg Oden's got a Finals ring, he at least has something to prove or show for it.
Let's see if he has a final. Dude, he's only 34.
Greg Oden, wow. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
He is not old at all. 34.
He is currently, he's part of he's the director of basketball operations for Butler University.
Nice.
Yeah, good for him. And no, he lost. He lost to the Spurs. He was on the Miami Heat team that lost to the Spurs.
Damn.
Yeah. But, basically in 25 games in China, he averaged 13 and 13 and 2 blocks a game. All right, done with Greg Oden. So at 12, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. At 11, we have the Toronto Raptors. At 10, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. At 9, the Brooklyn Nets. At 8, the Denver Nuggets. And at 7, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Goddamn blasphemy. I'm just kidding. You can't put the Timberwolves any higher.
Yeah, I mean, it's with Minnesota. I mean, there's so much talent on this squad, and I'm using just pure power. I mean, Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns. It's gonna work, dude. It's just gonna work. So Anthony Edwards, you got D'Angelo Russell. That's a top 10 team to me right there. And I think these are all pretty fair. I think these are all teams that are right next to contenders. I actually think this is I think my top 12 are just perfect. I just truly think they're perfect. Okay, I think this is perfect right here. 7 to 12.
Run through it from Pelicans to the Timberwolves. Let me hear why.
So the Pelicans 36 and 46. They made a big ass move getting CJ McCollum, and now you have a healthy Zion Williamson, and they're just loaded. I mean, there is some bench concerns there as far as bench scoring goes, but still their starting lineup has enough offensive and defensive power, in my opinion, to propel them to a confirmed top 6 seed in the East or West at least. I mean, they were so close to taking down Phoenix. I guess not so close, losing in 6, but they're close. Toronto was 48 and 34. They were really good last season, and if some injuries didn't occur at the end of their year, they probably take down Philly, in my opinion. And all they did was improve their bench, and that's all they needed to do. And now we're going to see what Scotty Barnes' year 2 looks like. Cleveland gets that upper nod for Toronto for me because of Donovan Mitchell. I'm a big Cleveland supporter, man. This team was really freaking good in the first half of last year. And, I think what would change them to becoming a contender would be, Darius Garland's going to be all-star, but you'd probably need a breakout of Evan Mobley to just cement himself into a star in the league, or, even more bolder, a guy like, why can't I think of this freaking guy's name? We talk about him all the time. I'm so big on Isaac Okoro, dumbass. Isaac Okoro, I think, if he molds into a 15-point per game player, Evan Mobley, I don't even know, man, what he's capable of, 22 and 10, something like that. Cleveland's really good, but the Donovan Mitchell move just has their star power just slightly ahead of Toronto to me. Brooklyn's really good because they have Kevin Durant and Kyrie, and I like TJ Warren a lot. I think they salvaged their offseason as good as they possibly could have. I really think that as what the cards they were dealt, everything the Brooklyn Nets franchise has gone through as well in the last year. I mean, 44 and 38 with a very injured team, but you just can't count out that starting lineup. Denver is really solid, but I'm going to need a breakout year for Michael Porter Jr. to get them to true to contenders. And I touched on Minnesota, same thing. If Anthony Edwards turns into an MVP candidate, right there, top 6, possible top 6.
Yeah, no. So for me, New Orleans, I think the reason why they're not higher is if it's the same team as last year, 12 is perfect. The reason why they're not higher is we don't know how Zion Williamson's going to look, how this team's going to fit, and as well as what's the bench going to be like, especially with scoring and defense are the two things. There's not a lot of scoring off the bench and defense. And as well as this team is another team that they're one injury away from one of their top players from being, I think losing Zion again wouldn't be that big of a deal because we've seen what they can do without him. But losing like Brandon Ingram or CJ McCollum, that would be like a hard pill to swallow. Now, Toronto, they're having the largest training camp in NBA history. I don't know how they have more than 20 guys on their roster, but Toronto just told anybody and everybody that we like who's long and lanky and can play two-way, please come to our training camp because we need to rebuild this bench. We got like 8 guys on this roster. The next 15 of y'all are trying out for the last 7 spots, okay? And I think that's good because Toronto's downfall was that they staggered their top 7 literally by the playoffs. They had a 7-man rotation with Thad Young and I think Precious Achiuwa. Boucher. I think Boucher might have been hurt at one point. I think it was like a 7 to 8-man rotation where the 3 guys off the bench were big men. No guards off the bench.
Yeah.
No guards.
Yeah.
So Toronto,
you had Armani Brooks playing valuable minutes there.
Yeah. So you're telling 16 people. Thank you for watching. And
wow.
Yeah. So thank you. But you exactly like Toronto, they're having this giant training camp because they're like, we need more guards and swingmen, guys who can play shooting guard and small forward. So that's what the Raptors are doing. And if they find those pieces, this team's way better. Cleveland, I love them. Okay. And they gave up barely nothing to get themselves Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, there's concerns with the defensive capabilities of that small ass backcourt, but don't care. You got Isaac Okoro who can play small forward, and then you got Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and Robin Lopez all right there. So shut the fuck up with Kevin Love. But this is a team, Cleveland Cavaliers, they're a top 10 team in the NBA. The only thing holding them back is I think Rubio won't be back till February. So will the bench be able, like Karis LeVert now being moved to the bench and them having Jetty Osman and Raul Neto, Ricky Rubio, like that bench is fine. I'm fine with the bench. It's just the younger guys do need to take the jump. We need, like Karis LeVert could go win 6th man of the year. He's in a position to do it. Brooklyn could end up way higher. There's concerns, I think, with this team defensively. They have the shooters. TJ Warren, Kessler, Edwards, Seth Curry, Joe Harris, Edmund Summer. Okay. And, obviously Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Defense is the question here because Nick Claxton, Ben Simmons, and David Duke are arguably your 3 best defenders, with Kevin Durant probably being your 4th best defender, which isn't a bad thing. Like Kevin Durant is a good defender, but you want this team to have more defenders on there. And what is Day'Ron Sharpe? Is Ben Simmons the center? What's the lineup? And what's the bench like? This bench, TJ Warren's cool. Also, that's another shooter, TJ Warren, but TJ Warren's another guy who could win 6th man of the year. They also have Cam Thomas, who, if his shooting comes around, there's just questions with this team, how the Brooklyn Nets could be way better or they could be way worse. They're up in the air. Denver, they're awesome, but I don't see them being anything lower than rank 8. The only thing keeping them from being ranked higher is health and question marks around will Bones Highland take the jump? Can Christian Brown, be effective? Zeke Nnaji as their backup center, just questions. Minnesota, they probably have one of the best starting 5s in the NBA. Gobert, Towns, Jalen McDaniels, Edwards, and D'Angelo Russell. Awesome. But then it goes Taurean Prince, Jordan McLaughlin, Naz Reid, and
He's
then
a dog.
but after those guys, the whole bench is a question mark with the Timberwolves. So I think this is good. I think what you said this at the beginning when we first started. These 6 teams are teams that are almost contenders, but they have 1 or 2 question marks on each of their rosters, and that is why they aren't contenders.
Yeah.
That's
now for the moment of truth.
all right.
15 people watching the first ever Jepper rankings.
The Jepper rankings, the Jackson Elstro power rankings. How long did this take you to make?
20 minutes.
That's nice. It's cute. All righty. Drum roll, please. At 6, we have the Boston Celtics. At 5, the Milwaukee Bucks. At 4, the Los Angeles Lakers. At 3, the Philadelphia 76ers. And at 2, the Golden State Warriors. And now, the number 1 spot being held by the same team that I would have put up my number 1 spot, the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think everybody would agree with these top 6, probably if the Lakers were subbed out with, like, maybe Brooklyn. I don't know, because I don't know. People don't like LeBron. So coming in at number 6, the what's unfortunate for Boston now is that their offseason basically is just now Malcolm Brogdon. Like, the whole Gallinari thing is just, it's over. So if you get Melo, I will probably put you a top 4. But in order for Boston to win a championship, I need Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown to be that guy. I don't know who it is going to be quite yet. I thought it was going to be Tatum, but Brown outplayed him statistically in the finals. So until one of them proves me, like, I'd want an MVP, Jason Tatum, or I would want I don't know. There was that even after game 1, and we can go back. I might listen to our finals when I'm driving to Nashville tomorrow. Like, it's just, they're good, but I at no point, even when they took down Golden State in game 1, I never thought Boston was going to win that series. So I think they're like just like two more bench pieces now because of Danilo going down. I think Melo would do a lot for him, and I just got to see continual development from all their pieces, but I do expect a decline from Al Horford. And I still have some question marks with Boston. Milwaukee, a healthy big 3 Milwaukee is making the NBA Finals, and they're probably losing to Golden State, in my opinion. They do have some depth concerns now, I think is the proper word. But their starting lineup still, to me, that is a championship caliber roster. Lake Show, a lot of people disagree with this one, but, I think from a Chicago Bulls fan, I've counted LeBron out plenty of times, and it's always come back to bite me. So I am not going to bank on a 33 and 49. I don't care if Russ is on that team, off that team, if they trade him. I don't care. They could cut him for chopped liver. You got a healthy LeBron James, and you have a healthy Anthony Davis. That's going to be one of the best teams come playoff time as far as power goes. Philly, this was before the Trez move. I still probably have them at 3, but they had possibly the best offseason. PJ Tucker is the difference maker. That is a difference maker. If PJ Tucker is not on Milwaukee probably loses to the Phoenix Suns. He does so much for you on the defensive end, and he is still kicking it, and he's still banging those threes in that corner. PJ Tucker, he gets those buckets. Golden State, really good team. There is some concerns with the backup bigs, but I think the Jermichael move was solid. Kevon Looney is Mr. Consistent, and Golden State they're the defending champions. But on paper, I do think Los Angeles is a lot deeper, and they have a lot more proven players. And I think anytime you have a Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, we've seen Kawhi do it. We've seen Kawhi do it several times in his career, and it really just boils down to health for Los Angeles. But on paper, a healthy Clippers squad.
Now, no dead air. So what I was trying to find out while you were talking, when was the last time LeBron went 2 years in a row without making the playoffs? And
Never.
And the thing is LeBron went to the playoffs technically in 2020 to 21 season, and they played 6 games. So The last time LeBron went 2 years without going to playoffs were his first 2 years in the NBA, when he went 33-46 his rookie year, 41-39 his second year. His third year, they went 47-32. And this, as you guys know, this past year, LeBron also, for the first time since his rookie year, had a losing record when playing. His rookie year, he was 41.8% win percentage. This year, he had a 44.6. Even though he played 45 games in 2020 to 21, he was 30-15 in those games when healthy. Year before, 50-17. Okay, so this is even in his first year in LA, in the 55 games he played, he was 50.9% win share, 28-27. So, yeah, I have nothing. I'm with you. I might not have the Lakers as high. I might, in my mind, switch the Lakers out with Boston because I still think there's a few moves the Lakers need to make. I think they either should make a trade with the Spurs for Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, and Jakob Poeltl if they can, or make a trade with the Jazz for Bojan Bogdanovic, Malik Beasley, and Jordan Clarkson, which I think would put them at 4. But Boston, they would be ranked higher if they signed Carmelo to replace Danilo. It's just they kind of went down in my mind now that Danilo's got hurt because they really only got one player now this offseason. Milwaukee's basically the same team. They did add some guys that I do like what the Bucks did this offseason. They brought in who was the point guard they brought in this offseason? They brought in Joe Ingles, but
I like their picking Marlon Beauchamp too.
Marjon Beauchamp's a rookie that I think could make a big impact, and they're still going to bring back Jordan Nwora, who's still a free agent. They have Javon Carter, and Javon Carter's who they brought back and they still have who Javon Carter will replace George Hill. Lakers, we just said Lakers, Boston, Milwaukee. I think they're all in the same tier, and then the next tier is the Sixers, Golden State, Clippers. The Sixers, like you said, probably had the best offseason, and I would put the Clippers not so far behind that. Because, look, the Sixers, Daniel, we talked about this in the beginning of the video, Daniel House, PJ Tucker, Montrezl Harrell now, and as well as bringing back James Harden on a discount, they were able to do that. And they also traded for DeAnthony Milton, who's a great, defensive player and a guy who is a two-way threat for them. They still have Shake Milton, still have Furkan Korkmaz, Georges Niang off the bench. And they actually brought him, and they still have Matisse Thybulle, and then they have Paul Reed, Jaden Springer, and Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe and Paul Reed tore up the summer league this year. So I think right now out of these 6 teams, I would say the Sixers have the deepest bench in the NBA.
Nice.
I don't know if you agree with that. I'm not a Sixers fan. I am not a Sixers fan at all. I don't hate the Sixers. I think I really don't hate any teams. For some reason, in my mind, I've always really disliked the Rockets. I don't know why, but I think it's really because of James Harden. I dislike James Harden. Actually, take that back. This is why, you know what? I used to like the Sixers. Any team James Harden's played on, I've started to dislike because I dislike James Harden. But I think I'm also like the nicest hater in the world. I truly don't hate anyone. I'm actually very kind and I'm not a Sixers fan by any means, but I will admit that the Sixers. Last year, we were talking about Golden State having one of the best benches before. This was a video I made, and I don't know if you had talked about this last year, but before the season started, I was saying Golden State might have one of the deepest benches. And this year, I'm saying the Sixers are replacing the Golden State Warriors as the deepest bench in the NBA preseason. What, Thomas Perry's comment?
Yeah. Golden State could easily take the crown if you have the guys like Moses, Kuminga and James Wiseman take those leaps like Jordan Poole did.
But those are ifs. If my
exactly.
If my aunt has balls, she'd be my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. If the Warriors players take the jump, then yes, they would have the best bench. But right now, on paper, with what we know of the players are capable of doing, I would say the Sixers have the best bench. Not my aunt. If she had balls, she'd be my uncle.
Well, actually, Cyro, maybe they have they/them, and you can't say that.
I have 11 people who are they, them, or they, them, or they, some. They're either non-binary or trans in my theater class. There's nothing wrong with that. You can be whatever you want. I have nothing against it. But the other day, I'm talking. This girl that they told They named Ellen. We were in a discussion talking second day of class, and they had said something. And instead of saying they, I said she said a good point. And she cuts me off in the middle of my discussion. She goes, it's they. I'm like, I look back, I'm like, I'm sorry, Ellen. I'm sorry. I was like, you look like there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, don't bitch at me. Like, there's 18 people in the class. There's 11 of you who have those pronouns. I'm the only one not a theater. Like, don't come at me. Like, bro, like, this is my second fucking class. Okay. Like, I don't have any friends who are trans or they, them. Like, they're all straight. In my day-to-day life, I don't deal with that. So I'm sorry that, like, it's not even like I came over and I was being douchebag. Like, I was still in the middle talking. She cut me off. It's they. I'm like, you could have waited till I was done and been like, hey, Cyro, they, even though my name is Ellen.
Like.
Oh, Ellen, and it's just a girl.
Well, yeah, but I still want to see what they look like.
Oh, they're ugly as fuck. I'm just there's nothing about their pronouns or their sexuality has nothing against me saying this. Okay, this is just me. If they were straight, if they were normal, you can't say that.
Calling after this.
No, I'm actually. I have two sisters. I have two sisters and mother. I'm like not misogynistic at all. But what I'm saying is, if
they were normal,
I know. I realized as I said that I was like, they are normal. But if they were traditional, what people will say, traditional gender norms, as the political correct people would say, they would be considered ugly as fuck. That, like, I'm in that class and I'm a goddamn model compared to everyone else. I should be on the cover of Vogue if those were. There's another thing. For people who have not gone to college, who are in high school still watching this or listening, you will learn the day you go to college that 60% of the human race is ugly.
Ooh, that's a high number. I'd go
at least 50. You go 90 as ugly?
I'd go 90, yeah, at least.
Yeah, a majority of people on this earth are ugly. I'm sorry to
95.
say. I don't know. I think
99.
60. I think just
60 is way. You're trying to tell me, all right, we'll take 100 people at KU's campus, just 100 random people. There is no way 60 of those people are attractive. And it's not a Kansas thing. There's just no way.
Oh, there's yeah, maybe I am. I'm skewing it from my eyes in Kansas. Well, I grew up I realized, and my girlfriend and I both realized, because we were like from, like middle class, and I grew up in like a nicer upper middle class area.
Yeah, you had money, fucker.
But like I realized we grew up in attractive areas where like all my friends in like high school, like majority of people were attractive, and like same thing with my girlfriend. She went to private school, and like all the people she was around. We always said this, like, damn, we grew up in like our areas were attractive people, because then you go to college and like there are Igors out here.
Oh yeah.
There are some people like there's nothing like wrong, like personality is what matters. It's not what's out on the outside, but like holy fuck, there are some people that they hit every branch of the ugly tree out the fucking womb. Okay, people
don't realize you could just get in shape and you won't be ugly. You'll at least be like good enough look. Or that sounds so shitty.
It's scientifically proven that if you work out, you're more attractive to people.
I don't like, and this is so shitty, but like I like
17 people watching us talk about this right now.
I don't really mess with ugly people because I feel like the way you look kind of shows the way you think. So like I don't.
Are you telling me you are prejudiced towards ugly people and you're not friends with ugly people because you think people are ugly by choice?
I think that people don't realize that, but yeah, I'm not friends with ugly people. I mean, I don't.
What if you're ugly? What if you're ugly?
If I was ugly, then I know I'm not ugly. But if I was ugly, I'd probably have ugly.
You're
friends,
aware if you're ugly or not. I'm sorry. Like I think. Like we both know that we're like attractive people, you know what I mean? Like not in a weird way that we're like just, we're not like butt fucking ugly that like we shouldn't be on camera, like that's what I'm saying. And I think there's people who are like normal looking people who think I think one thing people don't know is that they think they're way more attractive than they actually are. I think that's the bigger problem. I think more people are aware that they're ugly or aren't really attractive, while there's less people who think they are way more attractive than they really are. There are so many girls out there who post, or even dudes who like post like their gym posts and shit like that, flexing and stuff. I'm like, bro, you I don't know who you're showing this for. Girls who post on their stories and stuff, and you're just like, you're a California 2, and everywhere else you're like a 4. But like, I love that. I love that when people go like, yeah, I'm like a California 2, but like anywhere else I'm like a 6.
It's like a girl's 8, but she's a Miami 6.
Yeah. Like, she's an 8 in the Midwest, but you know, in Miami or Cali, she's really a 4, bro. That's how I'm gonna go about life. You think you're attractive? Yeah, I'm like I'm an LA 6, but like anywhere else, I'm a 9. Facial hair, strong, 9.5.
I hate that I shaved my beard. I don't like it at all. You didn't even notice. Do you notice?
Nah, a little. Like now that you said it, I can tell you're clean shaved. I mean, I can't wait till in a year. I'm gonna have my beard trimmed weekly by like a barber.
That's the goal.
Well, yeah, like
definitely the goal.
Maybe not a week, maybe once a month. I'll go to the barber and have him straight razor my face. But
might as well once a week because we're beasts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, if I had the money, my goal is, I mean, I'll always have a little bit longer hair just because that's like my thing. I like, you want to see a geek ass picture? I was watching a Diego Maradona fucking documentary, and I literally go, holy fuck, Diego Maradona and I have the same hair.
I don't even know who the fuck you're talking about.
The greatest
I'm going for Aaron Rodgers. Are we getting there?
Can you do the Con Air look?
I only watch this show for the looks. It's always funny when I'll sometimes like post my face on a golf balling story, and I'll get like a couple of people saying like, "Oh, I always thought you were ugly."
Same hair as Diego Maradona.
Yeah, you do look very similar.
Literally
cool.
Same. I could just search up like when people tag me. Also, wasn't that so geek what I sent you today? I'll pull it up right now. That I was like, I commented on like RJ.
That was cool. Yeah.
I'll pull it up, and the guy was like, "Oh, I didn't know it was you." I was like, "What up?" It's like it was a cute little moment. I felt honored. The guy had like 1,000 subs, so I was just like, "Oh,
word."
Realize. I'm actually he's a Knicks YouTuber. I was thinking about DMing him, seeing him come on the show. This guy.
Yeah, is that tomorrow?
No, tomorrow is the Boston Celtics guy.
Yeah. I mean, tomorrow's Celtics. Dude, I'm gonna know so much more than him about the Boston Celtics. I can't wait. I think I'm gonna be quiet and let you take a lot of the lead here.
Well, most of the thing I do is I just let them ramble. That's what they teach.
Yeah.
In journalism, the key is when you interview someone is be as quiet as possible. When you think you should talk, don't talk, because people, when you interview them, if you just stay quiet, they'll feel like they need to keep talking more.
Dude, I'd learned that way too late. Every interview I listen to, or like we'll do it on the golf podcast, I listen to, I'm like, dude, I need to shut the fuck up. Like, I get so pissed off at myself whenever I listen. I was just listening to, I did an interview for a podcast in January, and I was like, fuck, dude, this is so bad. Like, it's just so fucking bad. But I do have my point on beat writers is they are never going to say anything negative about anybody on their team, because you need to keep your connections and relations high.
No, the beat writers are the most negative.
Really? I've never noticed that, because I'm thinking if I'm a beat writer, I'm not going to go shit on KPJ because I want KPJ to interview me and have a good relationship with me.
No, beat writers are the harshest on the team. Beat writers are, they're the most honest. They're the most brute. Beat writers are the ones who write what the diehard fans are feeling. So if they're pissed at a fucking player, they're going to write that they're fucking pissed at the player. That's why NBA players hate beat writers. But tomorrow,
can we do like I don't know if you're preparing anything in advance, like shoot it my way or something, just so
I'll send you my questions here.
So I'll probably just ask like a question or two.
But yeah, I'm like trained on how to interview people, and that was like something I learned in college. And it's basically one of the things you do in the interview. I just sit there quiet as fuck, and I don't speak until like I'll count literally 15 seconds after they stop talking, and then I'll start talking, because they teach you in journalism that if you just stay quiet and you interview someone, that person, if you just don't respond, they're gonna feel awkward by the silence. So they're gonna keep talking. So they might let something slip.
That's good life advice in general too. Like,
yeah. So with that being said, tomorrow we're having a writer for the Boston Celtics for fansided.com, Justin Trombino. I interviewed him previously on my main channel. If you guys want to see, it's like a 40-minute thing. I'm having him actually come on 30 minutes into the show, so he doesn't take up the whole show. And 18.
Is that our career high?
No, I think we've broken 25.
This show's leveling up, folks.
We're about to hit 1,000.
It's starting with the Jepper polls.
Either way, if you're all right now, because we are going to wrap up. Oh, we're at 19. But right now, if you do enjoy the show, hit that like and subscribe button and be a friend and tell a friend. We're growing this shit. Hopefully, we can hit 1,000 subscribers before the NBA season starts. Yeah. Anybody in the NBA media can go fuck themselves, because we started an NBA show like right at the start of the offseason, when it's the worst time you could start an NBA show, and we grew almost 1,000 subscribers over a fucking offseason when there's nothing to fucking talk about. We gained 1,000 subscribers talking about the same bullshit on a day-to-day fucking basis. So if anybody doesn't believe in, if you build it, they will come, you're fucking wrong, because Rome wasn't built in a goddamn day. I got really heated right there. I got really heated.
No, it's so cool. It's so cool. Like, it's cool. Like, I view this show as such a long-term career, like, move. Like, I plan on doing this for years.
So do I. No, like, the plan is, I literally, like, every job interview I've had so far with a news station, I'm like, do you guys have a radio station? And they're like, if they say yes, they're like, why? I'm like, I have an internet show. I want to bring it to radio. And they're like, okay, that's something we can definitely talk about once, like, if I work there. And this is the plan. I mean, obviously the dream is to get on Sirius XM, so, because we fucking hate FCC ruling. But, the goal is to get this onto Sirius XM, or really just to get this where we're making a shit ton of money off the lives. I mean, we're getting 500, 600 views off of fucking live streams right now.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Okay. So imagine once we can have 1,000 people live. Okay. Like, the plan is, we are the only daily internet NBA show in existence. We're the first one. I don't know if the first one ever, but as of right now.
I just thought it was really cool saying, because I did the winner. I gave it the winner to Chris for the work he did. He did some work for me too. The PayPal, or the $28 thing. But I just thought it was so cool saying, like, somebody was chatting and they were like, damn, I was here for a little bit. I paused it, came back and watched later. So I'm just seeing it now. Like, it's cool how many people listen to it once we're off air. I'm glad people are able to just enjoy it, sit back, and not feel like. I'm glad it seems like right now we have a nice little blend of, like, our OGs, like guys like Thomas, Aaron, chatting, and then we still have, like, a bunch of people just watching from afar. So
and it's gonna grow. More people will come, and people will learn the name. The clips are taking off. It's all gonna come together. And it's going to be beautiful, because this isn't just yours and I's project. This is everyone. It's a group project, because when we make it, y'all make it. And, like, at the end of the day, like, my dream is, like, to hopefully, like, one day, like, to do shit. Obviously this is a fan driven show. Yeah. Okay. None of this is possible without y'all. Every comment, every time you guys show up, I look forward to it. I know, we literally talk to Aaron on a day-to-day basis. Same thing with Thomas, basically. And, like, that's the beautiful thing about it. And when we grow, you grow. And we want you to be part of the ride, like everyone else to be part of the ride just as much as us, Oh,
yeah.
All right. I got to go do shit. I got to go fucking do some life shit and fucking homework.
I gotta pack my whole fucking basement together here.
Yeah, you're moving. Yo, wasn't that house I sent you dope? $1,500 for a screened-in pool with a fucking
I was about to say, like, you and your girl looking for roommates?
Oh, well, the thing is like in a year basis, when I start looking for places, and let's say you don't like the place you live at, maybe we can talk in like December or January if like after 3-4 months you guys are already thinking about moving when your lease goes up.
True. Yeah. True.
And then we can line something up where maybe you can find a sublease so you can move out of your place early and then you can just move in with us and we can do like a fat house.
It feels shitty though. Like I don't
Subleasing?
No, like I don't think your girlfriend's gonna want to. Like I feel bad. Like it's just I feel like it's 23. I want to get my own place. Is ideally the goal.
Oh yeah,
It'd be sick if we had like a studio and we're just pulling, or even like a studio in your fucking house, like a room or whatever.
Well, I mean, obviously the goal is to try to live next to each other so we can have a studio we drive to.
That'd be so freaking dope, dude. That'd be so sick. And then we could start doing stuff like I don't like Fresh and Fit too much, but they're like a big podcast. And one day they just did an after hours. They like went out and were rocking a buzz and came back with some girls, went live, and it blew up. And there's just like endless possibilities.
Well, Pat McAfee does an after hours every show. His show's from 11. His show's from 12 to 3 Eastern time on Sirius XM, but he shows it on YouTube. And, but at 3 p.m., he goes off the air on Sirius XM and stays live for another 30 minutes to an hour on YouTube. And they call it after hours. They throw up a queue and they're like after hours. Yeah. And that's when sometimes they'll smoke weed on air or like drink.
Dude, that's sick. Fucking hurry up and graduate and get down here, man. Come on.
I know. Give me 9 months. Give me 9 months and I'm done. I gotta start applying to grad school.
Fucking year.
I know.
You got 9 months of college.
Fuck you. Okay. Fuck you.
Right,
I'm pumping out videos on campus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you saw I pumped out one today for the Montrezl Harrell trade, and then
was that on campus?
Not Montrezl. The Warriors workout. I did that in the bathroom.
Nice.
Yeah, bathroom acoustics and all.
All right. I gotta go. I'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
Thanks, everyone. Peace.